have to stick with it.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I started doing before I even forgave my parents. And I was so depressed and suicidal at some times that I just would have to stop in the middle of my job or whatever I was doing and go into the silent prayer. And it really does help. Like, I don't have those anymore.
Amazing. You haven't seen anything yet. Doubt every thought. Bring every thought into captivity. Just let them all pass. Don't judge them. You haven't seen anything. It gets better and better and better and easier, easier, easier. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. I noticed after a while that when these guys overcome their anger, they have amazing ideas about starting a business, but because they've been told that if you don't get a loan from the bank, or if you don't have a 5-year plan, or if you don't do this, and it's just simply not true, it's the first step. With faith, then all things are possible. So, but the most important thing is to return to the Father. That yearning that you have, that emptiness, that void, is not for more stuff. It's not for more friends. It is a return to the Father, because there's no way you can return to God and be angry at your earthly father. So thank you all so much, right? People around the world donated to Bond at rebuildingtheman.com, or they call 800-411-2663, and we're still committed to pointing the right way for men and women to return to the Father. Check out Punchy's Coffee. I have my own coffee now. Punchy Coffee is good. Every bag is roasted to order. Freshest flavor. Top quality. Specialty grade beans. Good. Every dime goes back to Bond, my nonprofit. And we are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. So when you're drinking coffee and enjoying it, just know you're helping somebody. Amazing coffee. Punchy has his own coffee now. What the? And it's so good. All the way from the plantation to my own coffee. Who would have thought? Did that coffee come from the plantation? Did I pick my own coffee? Check it out. Go to rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com/stores, and get Punchy's Coffee. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thanks for tuning in on this fine Wednesday. An absolute pleasure to be back with you. The first week back from the new year and all that. So, welcome to the show. We got a number of things to get into. We're getting into real things, things that matter: energy, oil, crude, refined, right? Missiles, real things. People that get real things like Trump, like they get what it all means, the value, the real value of things. People that get that. Okay, enough with the emotions about it. Okay, there's plenty of things to get into. It's been it's been somewhat interesting, right? We won't run down everything we'll get into, but we'll try to get into it all. It's a pleasure to see you here, though. I see you in the chat, my people. How you doing? That's rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. How you doing there, Golden Rule? Nice to see you. Welcome back. Happy New Year to everyone. We got my people on punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. And, of course, here on YouTube. How you doing, everybody? Welcome, welcome. YouTube, a pleasure to see you there. How you doing, Art, Rex, Frank? What's up, everybody? Truck. We'll just go truck. This truck. We got truck. We got spark plug. That's not a joke. We got carburetor. No, that one is a joke. But we do have truck and spark plug in the chat, and I do appreciate you guys. Ladies? Never mind. Okay. And if you got something on your mind, okay, you're wondering, why is Nick emotional right now? He's crying. No, this fan in my eye is actually causing me to tear up. Welcome to the show. If you got something on your mind, something you want to talk about, that's 888-775-3773. How you doing, Frog Teeth? That's Frog Teeth, Spark Plug, and Truck. 888-775-3773. Again, something on your mind, something you want to get off your chest, something you want to discuss. Please, by all means. How you doing, Bald Man? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Jeb, Francisco. Tankers, oil, boy stuff. Is this boy stuff? Look, this is real stuff. There's kind of like a bit of like what you would call, what's the word I'm looking for? A bit of like an exciting story, a bit of like a nail-biting story that was that really just reached its conclusion in the last few hours of the day, or tentative conclusion. Bit of a nail biter. We're talking about the Dark Fleet, the Shadow Fleet of tankers in the world that have been taking oil out of Venezuela and into the hands of our political and geopolitical adversaries. I mean, it's a two-way street. They're not so nice with us either. Okay, you can say U.S. so mean, imperialist, putting your missiles everywhere. They're not we can get into it. They're not the nicest people, okay? And right now we got a pretty nice guy. Trump, he tries to work with everybody. We got examples of that. He tries to work with people. There was plans to work with Maduro. He was given chances, I heard. And the same with Putin, right? They were like, this guy trying to work with a dictator. What's wrong with you? And now Putin's has basically showed himself to be what? We're focused on himself and his country, right? Let's put it like that. And so Trump's got to do what he has to do. And this little story has to do with oil in Russia. And you see this shadow fleet, which I also learned a little bit about. Pretty interesting. This is tracked. You know how I have I don't know if you guys, from those that follow me and we do the aviation stuff, I have a FlightAware account. We can follow planes. It's pretty fun. There's a tanker tracker thing, okay? You could do that with tankers, tankertracker.com. It's expensive license. Hey, anybody in the oil industry, you have a tankertrackers.com account that we could borrow for funsies? Yeah, they have like you could if you have an account, you could watch the shadow fleet in real time around the world. That's how intelligence is. We pretty much see what everybody's doing. We see the scams, and it's all just like we're allowing this because if we stop Russia from doing this, they might stop this, and it's all a little like dance. It's all a big dance in the world. And so the story follows this little tanker, the Bella. Wait, what's it called? The Marinera. They're calling it, which may be a false name. You see, what's happening with these tankers is they're employing different methods to smuggle the oil from shutting off transponders to changing their calls. I don't know if it's a call sign like it is in aviation, but their tanker ID or whatever. Doing ship-to-ship transfers out in the ocean. And what's nail-biting about this one is that this particular ship was making its way back to that Russian side of the world, okay? And U.S. is saying, hey, U.S. is hot on its tail, right? Tracking it, hot on its tail. There's claims of its technology saying it was somewhere else when it was somewhere else, right? So it's like hazy details. Suddenly, this tanker appears. Has a name, the Marinera. Has a flag, a Russian flag. It's flying a Russian flag. Russia starts throwing in their messages. Putin's like, hands off. You better stop pursuing that tanker. So the Marinera Caesar, January 7, 2026, kind of a few hours ago, U.S. forces, Coast Guard, and Special Operations seized the Russian-flagged Marinera in the North Atlantic near Iceland after a dramatic 2-week pursuit across the ocean. The tanker, empty at the time, had been trying to reach Europe after evading a U.S. blockade around Venezuela, imposed as part of the sanctions and recent actions against Venezuelan leadership. During the chase, the crew renamed the ship, painted a Russian flag on the hull, and registered it under Russia to claim protection. Russia reportedly dispatched naval vessels, including a submarine, to escort it, raising fears of a direct confrontation, right? So that's where it was like, what's going here? The two superpowers meeting kind of close, right? The U.S. claiming it's part of this piracy fleet, dark fleet as they call it, and the Russia condemning this seizure as piracy. You got Russian ships following it. This is the showdown, right? And then U.S. is like, okay, everybody's watching, right? Helicopter in plain view of all the Russian ships, and seized the tanker as they said they would. So it kind of concluded recently, and with the headlines all coming out, right? Whatever, call it glazing, call it whatever. But like, the embarrassment of Putin, in his face, the embarrassment, and that's kind of the news there on that. Venezuela, now known as Trump land. So yeah, and they're not stopping there. What's next? What's next in this year? Are they going? They're going. They got the tankers. Are they doing Cuba? Are they doing? Are they going to Chicago? Are they going to California, Los Angeles? Internal, domestic, and internationally, what's next? I mean, there's talk of Greenland, right? Greenland. Europe's leaders boldly confronted Donald Trump on Tuesday night after his administration threatened to use the U.S. military to seize Greenland. That's the one that's ice, right? Didn't we learn that in school? I thought I heard in school that they were trying to, whoever was living in Iceland was trying to fool people, like the Vikings, maybe. They're like, let's call ourselves Iceland, but we're really green. You ever hear that one growing up? And then we'll call the icy place Greenland. And it was like a big hoodwink. Was I the only one that heard that? One of the greatest hoodwinks of history. It was the greatest hoodwink of all time. They told him it was Iceland. They told him it was Greenland. It was full of ice. Silly. That just came to my memory. I could be making that up. Starmer and Macron, where were we? A joint statement from leaders, including Sir Keir Starmer, French President Emmanuel Macron, laying people, and Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. She goes goo goo gaga over a real man. So, hey, Italy, figure it out. But Giorgia Meloni, She'll fall in line. Vowed to defend Greenland's territorial integrity following days of escalating tensions between the U.S. and NATO. Trump's like, I made NATO what it is. I'm paraphrasing, but he would say something like, the reason they fear us, the reason they fear NATO right now is because of me. And that's what America's been doing, right? Projecting strength all the way from here to the border of Ukraine with Europe begging and all that. And, yeah. Yes, Iceland is green and Greenland is ice. Thank you. Europe's leaders have forfeited any respect they should have with their immigration practices destroying the West. Yeah, and in terms of security and this NATO and security and Russia, I mean, they got their own thing to deal with. That's always been Europe's job. Okay, as far back as I've looked, I haven't looked that far. I don't know anything. But they were saying back in like Britain's early monarchy, it was their statesmen just openly talking about Germany and who else? Germany's job, Germany's duty, and being a check to Russia since they are that border and like the gateway to Europe. And Germany, where y'all at? You guys got scammers all in your parks and all that. I mean, not unlike London, not unlike New York. And it's not Germans, right? And it's not America's job, right, to check Russia. But Venezuela in the backyard. I mean, hello. They could put missiles there. And then Greenland, what? It's a matter of controlling this whole hemisphere. I don't have a problem with that. When you have the hemisphere, I mean, either you keep it or they're like, what can I say, right? It's a matter of national interest. And it's a big nation, so we need a lot of room. Pretty much. So, where were we? There's a number of interesting things today. 888-775-3773. Tankers over there, that ended. Done. Strength projected. Maybe we can see what happens next with Putin, right? So that ended. That was nice. But I was watching that on the Hake Report. I was just watching the Hake Report. Okay. And he was playing this video with that guy from The Office. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of silly. Like the sensationalist, like the nationalist comment if you were just watching the Hake Report. Right. But it was the nationalist comment that I kept thinking about. There was a number of interesting things here that were even brought up. So if you remember, if you were watching the report, it looks like a season of some show, and in this show they're talking about pretty much Nicolas Maduro, but without saying his name. He's Nicolas Reyes here, and they're talking about Venezuela.
Anybody?
What's the threat to America?
Just call it out. You don't have to raise your hand.
Definitely Russia.
Definitely Russia. That's confident. I like it. Who says Russia? Anybody agree with her? Hands? Okay, great. Who else?
I'm trying to rehash the whole video, but I think we got to watch a bit of it to remind myself here.
Stop yelling at me, but China is a good answer. Anybody? Who else? China?
He's just Jim. So he's just Jim. In the CIA, he's Jim. He's just Jim.
North Korea?
You know what I'm saying? Like he's Jack Ryan here, but he's Jim. He's Jim Ryan. He's Jim from The Office Ryan. I mean, I've never really watched the show, so I don't know.
North Korea. Any North Korea takers?
Is he just gonna look at the anybody watch the show? Does he ever do one of these to the camera? If so, then I don't know. The writers were it was just like fan service.
And Venezuela? Anybody?
Venezuela.
No? Oh, yeah. One guy in the back. A little worried about Venezuela. Everybody's cool with Venezuela? No threat? Okay. Let me ask you this. Which one of these places can claim to have the largest oil deposit on the planet?
Yeah. So lots of oil. Like lots. I don't understand some of this stuff. Some of these metrics, the oil industry metrics here. Where are my oil industry people at? Do we have anybody? We have a single one. We're people in the energy sector, huh? We need you. Venezuela specializes in this caustic, thick sludge that comes out of what I think they call the Orionco. What is it? The Orion, the Oreo belt. No, it's like a geographic thing. Oreo belt. Orinoco belt, which is where they say this stuff is coming out of the ground, right? Whatever. It's crude oil. Okay, it's this crude mix of hydrocarbons, but this particular mix is also mixed with all sorts of far heavier elements and sulfur. So you got these two ingredients in there that make it one heavy. That's why it's called heavy crude. It's like sludgy and heavy to transport. And it's also like toxic, full of sulfur. So you had to go through 2 extra refinement processes, which Venezuela was screwing up, okay? This is how they were running it. Like they came in, and this is, in fact, right here is why I'm playing this clip, because they're going to mention nationalism and the reason why Maduro, really why Hugo Chavez was elected, and then his enduring regime, Maduro continued it. Nationalism. They just love their country. And it's like there's something interesting about that. It was a lot of it was just grievance, like we talked about just the other day, right? Monday or whatever. It really is just grievance. It's not sophisticated. It's schoolyard rules. You're either like a hater or you got love, and it's like you're doing well. You're like, you're just focused on you, or you're just hateful and blaming, right? And that's what they did. The people were enchanted by their own evil hearts and beyond, and said the white man and the U.S. and imperialism was the source of their problems. And at that time, it was not looking good in Venezuela. I heard it was. They got their issues. And so, what do? You got your issues. You got an angry populace. Perfect storm. Call it nationalism, call it evil, okay? Call it communism, Marxism, call it a number of things. So that's why the clip was interesting. It made me think of that. And like, what's at the root, really? It's anger. It's like just hate. Like, oh, it's so sophisticated. How do we fix Latin America? Like Marco Rubio and some of these people want to do. How do we fix Latin America? What is the issue with Latin America? Look, I'm not going to... Maybe they're really smart and they have some idea. I don't know, because I don't know exactly what they're talking about. But when I hear this kind of talk, I wonder if Trump really even talks like this. There's all these articles coming out talking about Marco Rubio, and his history and his commentary on wanting to change Cuba. He's the son of like Cuban immigrants or something like that. Escaped communism and dreams of changing Latin America. We need the oil. We'll take the oil and get out Russia, China, whatever. And obviously, y'all people here, this is like me, this is like America looking at South America. Obviously, y'all people, so maybe some of you here haven't figured out what time it is, so I hope everybody's paying attention. But no, I don't know about changing Latin America. They got to change themselves, no? Call me a little simple. I think about the individual. You can't change people. You can't change like black people. You can't change people. Like they've given themselves into a reprobate mind of anger and blaming. And some, like some Venezuelans, are maybe seeing it a different way, okay? But that's the hemisphere for y'all. That's a little bit of the hemisphere. There was something else about Saudi, this clip, though. He brings up this woman. Last little kind of point, just kind of Trump's instincts, for everything you can say. Here's something. His instincts, just like killer, just legendary. Like when everyone around, because here's the story. Basically, there's this woman, and I'll just let this play a bit, then mention it. They kind of tell you who they're talking about here.
Wow. Okay, what about things like gold?
Yeah, so they got a lot of gold.
More than all the mines in
oil,
Africa
yep.
combined? The fact is that Venezuela is arguably the single greatest resource of oil and minerals on the planet. So, why is this country in the midst of one of the greatest humanitarian crises in modern history? Let's meet President Nicolas Reyes. After rising to power on a wave of nationalist pride, in a mere 6 years, this guy has crippled the national economy by half. He has raised the poverty rate by almost 400%. Luckily for the rest of us, he's up for re-election. So,
up for re-election, this happened.
Who's running against him? This is Gloria Benalde. Now,
Gloria Benalde, they're talking about Maria Corina Machado. Maria Corina Machado. Okay. Someone that Rubio actually really liked. I don't know much about everybody in the government, but basically this woman was pretty much backed by U.S. politicians like Rubio, people outwardly saying, yeah, we love her, we support her, like she's going to bring democracy in Venezuela. And, it's U.S. support of foreign politicians for imminent, and then imminent revolutions. Oh, what's going on? That's sometimes connected, right? But in Machado's case, she was even set to win a Nobel Prize. Okay, something that Rubio was really for. Now, why is that interesting to me? I mean, it tells me about how phony, first of all, like this Nobel Prize stuff is, and these consensus-based, this world consensus, the international community. Makes me think about the forces at play with such a concept, and why you have leaders come out and like support women in government, where you would otherwise think, aren't you like an old white Democrat from like, even you should be saying that, like, because it's like a matter of state building and state exertion across your borders. Okay, how do you like have a color revolution, but also kind of keep the world on your side? You install a woman. And it seemed like elements of the U.S., because Rubio and a bunch of these people are like, oh, we love her, we support her, Nobel Prize, give her a Nobel Prize. It's like, so the Nobel Prize stuff is also like fake, just for this international community rep status, so that we could build empire, which I support, by the way. I just like, you have to. I'm describing this relationship. Why do we even have to have this tug and pull with that? Let's empire build, and we don't have to export gay marriage everywhere. How about that? We could do that. We could totally do that. It would be even stronger. It wouldn't be so chaotic. You're exporting chaos. You're exporting like literal trash. No families, gay marriage. What is this? Women in politics, and so what's interesting about this one is there's a little kind of story about her nomination to this Nobel Peace Prize in 2024. And she won the 2025 award, announced in October 2025, recognizing her role in unifying the opposition, pushing for a peaceful transition from authoritarianism. Due to a travel ban and safety concerns, her daughter accepted it in Oslo, December 10th. Machado later escaped Venezuela in a perilous journey. Apparently, she dedicated the prize. Okay, Trump's. This is a story, apparently. Despite Machado praising Trump, this is how they write it, pbs.org, and even saying she'd share the prize with him, Trump snubbed her in the post-Maduro era. After Maduro's capture, Trump reportedly fixed on Jorge Rodriguez, former ally. Sources close to the White House describes this as stemming from a personal grudge. Look, rumors and all that. That Trump wanted the Nobel Peace Prize for himself. You know what? Whether that's true or not, it gives me this, I get this sense that, y'all are into her, but Trump is like, I don't know, that's you guys, Rubio keeps coming out and saying, no, we're not going to run things. We're going to do things right. We want Machado. I love Machado, by the way, you say the other day. And that woman, Delcy, we'll work with her. We're giving her every chance. We're letting her say whatever she wants to her people, but we're watching the actions. But Trump's coming out not saying, he hasn't said like we're not doing it. All options are on the table. We might put boots on the ground tomorrow. And so I get this sense of like this establishment that wants their little color revolution and place their little puppets. I mean, it sounds like a lot of stuff that hasn't worked. And Trump just, I don't know, with some space with stuff. This is my opinion. But yeah, I don't think he likes this Nobel Peace Prize winner, Marina Corina Machado. Who cares? Rubio has dreams of changing Latin America, maybe. Whatever. But, I hear he's doing a good job. I hear he's doing a super job right now there under Trump. So we'll get into more things here, folks. 888-775-3773. I want to talk to Jaden, California, sir. We got you on the air. Happy New Year. Nice to hear from you.
Hello, Nick. Can you hear me?
Coming in clear, sir.
All right. I just got a quick question because you're talking about, empire building. What do you think about the Spanish, conquistadors, the ones who came over to America from Spain and, conquered all of it? And then to another extent, the British conquering the Indians, right, the Americans?
Yeah.
On one hand, everyone knows that, the European colonization made everything better later on, right? Nobody disputes that the colonization was better than just living in a tribe, right? We get buildings and roads and cell phones and stuff, right? But my question is, just because you have something better, does that give you a right to conquer the other people to bring your betterness to them? Or does everyone have a right to, stay in their own place and be smoking pot and hookah all day like the Indians were?
Yeah, I've pondered this over time, and I want to give you a clear answer up front. Essentially, no. Basically, no. That doesn't. You actually don't. You don't just basically have such a right. That right doesn't just basically exist, if I may. Even though the founding fathers, I heard, right, says that it does, but they had to fight and think right. and build to kind of impose such a thing, right? Something they truly believed should just be natural. I heard and read. But that being said, so yeah, I don't think you just have that right. And that being said, though, such a question makes me think about the really crude, and I do that too on my show. Hey, I crudely summarize, but far too crude of a summary of just history. When people say, well, when you ask did the Europeans just have a right to take over? Actually, it's a long story of a little bit of this and that, of owning and going apart and saying, okay, let's buy this, and actually not fighting sometimes. And it's a story of, okay, let's work. Okay, this didn't work. It's actually a long story of people, and it's just not that. It's just not that crude, in my opinion.
Well, you're an anchor baby, so maybe you don't. But you look white, so you might be Spaniard anchor baby. But I'm full-blooded American, or somewhat full-blooded American, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to, on one hand, be like, yeah, those are my ancestors. They have the right to take over this land. They're awesome, right? But then on the other hand, if you think about it from a real perspective, because these people were real people, the same as you and me, right? If I was part of the colonial army and I was looking at real-life Native Americans, my first instinct would not be to shoot them and kick them off their land. If I was going to expand my land, I would do it economically. I'd buy the land from them, or give them something of value. I wouldn't just take it, even though I could bring something way better to the land and use it way better. I mean, it's if I bought a house today or a piece of land today, you don't have a right to come take it just because I'm not using the land at all. Just because I'm letting it sit there doesn't mean that you have a right to come by and be like, oh, let me build something on your property because you're not using it, right? But at the same time, it's I don't want to say that because it like gives this way to these Native Americans nowadays who are like, we gotta take back America, bro.
But see, that's the thing. Two responses to you. Again, you are almost doing the exact same thing I just described by crudely summarizing this way by saying, you're assuming that you're saying, well, if I saw it in India, I'm not going to just take that. I want it economically. You're almost assuming that, again, you're doing this assumption that that's what happened back then. But in fact, more of what you described happened. Yeah, there was attempts of economically fighting. Some of those tribes were like, hey, save us from these crazy, they're cannibals. They don't want to talk. It was a whole bunch of stuff, man. And number two, the second response to just really quick, because you said something so interesting. I had a second thing about what were you just saying?
I said that the Native, I don't want to say that because these Native Americans are going to be like, we got to take back
That
America.
is still at play. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
The second response is that, no, that's the very thing. It is at play. When they say, well, if you could have taken this or conquer or colonize this, who's to say you can't be recolonized? It's in fact happening, number one. They do believe that and are doing it. And of course it's still at play. This is the world we're living in. It's like the stuff is those for who you could keep it. To much is given to those who can have it, right? Etc. Like where there's a vacuum, it will be filled. Where there's space, it will be filled. Like, yes, we can be recolonized. We better wake up, or even deeper. You got the ancestors, dude. Really, all the people who care about their home, they got to wake up because it is happening. Recolonization is still in effect. It's the rules of the world are still in effect. We're still playing by them.
Yeah, I don't think my personal opinion on this, and I do support it. Looking back on hindsight, this colonization of America, right? But my opinion is that you've got 100 years from your colonization, and then 100 years forward to try to take it back and complain, and then after that, you just shut up. Like it's part of the other person's land now. After 100 years of them owning it, right? It's like these Native Americans, quote unquote, will come up to me and be like, I'm more American than you. I'm like, bro, I'm a Native American. I was born in America. My parents were born in America. My parents were born here. I'm Native American, bro. My parents don't know anywhere else besides this.
Stay close to your phone.
So it's like, okay. It's like my parents don't know anywhere. I don't know anywhere else. Like I am a Native American, right? So there's you can't say that. That's what I'm saying. You have 100 years to complain about the colonization after you get conquered, and then try to take it back. But if you can't do it in 100 years, then why are you still complaining? You weren't even there. If you were born after the 100 years, you weren't even there when your great grandparents got caught. You have no ties to it,
And you're saying who doesn't have ties to it?
The people born after the 100 years. Like you get colonized, then you have a 100-year period to complain. If you're born after that, what are you complaining about?
I got you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If anything, what is there to even be embarrassed about? It's a nation like others, and there's problems, but everybody wants to be here, and so what is there to even be embarrassed about, right? Like to say, oh, well, what right do we have to this land if someone else had it before us? But then it's like hundreds of years past, and it's like, okay, well, what is here? And it's like, well, what's here is, well, our homes, we still are relatively safe. Things we're going a direction it shouldn't, but as it stands, you want to tear it down? No, there's nothing to be embarrassed about even. It should stay up.
And the reason I bring this up, I have a final question.
Okay.
Is I personally believe, the reason I brought up the colonization, I personally believe that Trump should, basically, I was talking to a Mexican about this who lives in Mexico. Because Mexico is so corrupt with cartels, and it's not even a country anymore with a government, Trump should make Mexico like a colony of America and impose martial law. Not make it a state, but make it like a tributary, colony that they can have their own governance, but they just need to pay us 50% of their oil for free, and then we'll take care of all the cartels. So we'll make it a safe place, but they just give us a bunch of free stuff, basically. What do you think about that?
That's some creative thinking, Jaden. I don't know how it would stretch America, but and I just don't know. But it's creative, and I like it.
Yeah,
I definitely
it
like
would just be full. The Mexican said that if America has full jurisdiction over the country militarily and police, I mean, he said that the cartels be wiped out in a year at most, bro. They'd be gone, dude.
Yeah, they have a woman president. I just don't see those cartels going anywhere. You know.
But that's what if America made it a colony and then basically kicked off the woman president, now Trump is the leader of the country.
Yeah,
but it's not a
like
state
I said,
anymore.
for just a greater world, it's definitely creative and I like.
Do you agree?
It. It's interesting.
Do you agree
I don't know
with
how it might turn out badly, but that's a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Okay.
I like the creative, can-do plans, kind of about it. So I do like
Interesting.
There's something I like about it.
All righty. Good talking again.
Sir, Jaden, wish you well, man.
Wish you well.
All right, 888-775-3773. I mean, Mexico, look, we got gangs running things. I mean, it's a failure. A big failure. And how do you change animal sacrifice people, animal sacrificing type folks? How do you do that? I don't think you do. I don't think you do. When that's in the Old Testament. No, wait, is that in the New Testament as well? How old is animal sacrifice? Huh? Local council vote to allow religious animal sacrifices following extreme pressure from local Muslim communities.
According to the ordinance, quote, the owning, keeping, or harboring of pigs, horses, cows, sheep, goats, llamas, domestic fowl, outdoor rabbits is prohibited, and this section does not apply for temporary religious sacrificial purposes as permitted by law.
Wait, what? Wait, play this.
Our city is dirty enough. We don't want to make more dirty.
Thank you. Based Indian man, who is that? Our city is dirty enough. Thank you.
Our city is dirty enough. We don't want to make more dirty.
Debates raged on for at least 3 hours at Hamtramck City Hall over the new ordinance of sacrificing animals.
Really ridiculous, catastrophic resolution.
If it's not passed, then we are ready to take it to the court for the religious rights, because it is its constitution.
This was the second debate of the new ordinance, and there was a crowd outside of the City Hall chambers filling out cards to speak, and they were watching it on closed-circuit TV.
Look at all the locals. Look at all the Minnesotans.
No, it's not safe or sane or humane because basements or kitchens or backyards are not suitable.
Short-haired white lady liberal. You're going to say liberal? The white liberal woman is literally the cause of all this. And here she is. I don't know what she's a liberal, folks. I don't even know if she really has short hair. I can't even really see where. No, that's short pink hair. That's an undercut. Do they even call it that anymore?
Because basements or kitchens or backyards are not suitable places for live animal slaughter.
Many people, including Muslim residents, were against it, citing sanitary concerns if the animals are sacrificed in a home and not in a sterile environment, especially in the tight-knit neighborhoods of Hamtramck. The ordinance that was passed on Tuesday night says religious sacrificing of animals can be done as long as it is done legally and humanely.
I think it's the best compromise. We don't want to restrict religious freedoms, and we don't want to keep it random without regulations.
That's crazy. The religious freedoms.
Random without regulations.
Many Muslims pay a butcher to perform the religious sacrifice, but for some families, it's just not practical, says Nawar Ali with CARE Michigan.
A lot of families will...
Wait, is this every Minnesotan?
Typically do it in the confines of their property, like in their backyard, their garage, and again dispose of the animal accordingly.
I'm getting the feeling these are different diaspora / the types of Muslims, right? Some of these are like, I'm familiar. Look, I'm familiar. I'm culturally traumatized / educated. Okay. I know how immigration happened and worked, like even in Canada, right? It was like, I had the Indian friends that were spoke English. Yeah, they're in. Yeah, we went to their homes and they're had Indian food and stuff. The kids were whitewashed. Would I call them nationalists and lovers of Canada? No, sadly. But, and then they were like, these guys are like, they came from, they came from the rice paddy, from the slash desert slash, I don't know, slash
practical. So
what's whatever, what's the rural areas of India?
Is now our alley with care.
And then it's like, where are the white people?
Michigan.
It's like an inter class, a dirty word. Fight here.
A lot of families will
inter-class fight. This is a mess, folks. Okay, and they're gonna sacrifice the animals. Okay, in the name of social cohesion, they're going to sacrifice the animals in America. Islam is they're going to sacrifice the animals, okay? Animal, human nature. Where was I here? Oh yeah, out of social cohesion, right? Just allow it all. That is there was talk, right? They used to use words like integration. That's not even a word that's used, okay? This is the MO. But that's basically the path forward. There's nothing besides those two options. Okay, they already tried the big dialectic of immigration and integration, and okay, when they come in, they should be like this. We'll have them learn English. We'll have these standards. They're fighting. They're rioting. They're mad. Okay, well, how about this? We're weakening. We say, okay, you could do this. Fine. You don't even have to speak English. Fine. You don't even have to love America. You can say you could burn the flag. It's okay. And now they've relented to it all, and there are only two paths here. It's either no to this or just yes to the entire world, and they could do whatever they want, or absolute lead, never, no more, no mas. You understand? Because the conversation has been had, and this is where they are. They've relented all the way, and they're like, fine, you could just have it all. You could just have it all. How about you could just have it all? We die, you win. So, animal sacrifice. Talk about, wait, we got, hey, Kevin. What's up, Kevin, in the chat? The Greeks and Romans would simply take the best cut of meat and burn it or leave it out as symbolic offering to the gods. It's not that different than praying over your meal today. Okay, Kevin, I like your chats. I like your chats. But you're like, oh, the Greeks. Ooh, the Greeks. Are you gonna watch Christopher Nolan's new movie? He's coming out with Odyssey this year. The Odyssey, right? Odysseus? He was Greek, right? This is for you, Kevin. Oh, I love the Greeks. They're nice. I respect them as well, just like I do to the Indians, the early Hebrews, Jews, or whatever. You were like, bro, show me one society. I'm like, I'm just appreciating cultures and societies before us. That's all I'm doing. You're like, bro, the Greeks. So when this movie comes out, The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan, right? He did Batman. Did he do the Batmans with Heath Ledger and all that? Yeah. So it might be great. Okay. When the hero of this movie that's coming out, The Odyssey, right, chronicles the epic poem of Odysseus, when they leave out the parts where, he rapes a woman, and I'm not being a woke liberal or something, I'm just saying, raping a woman is like alien to us. Come on, in the way we grew up, let's be real, that's not LARP. Just raping a woman, it's pretty alien to us. It's like, hey, that's pretty illegal. Okay, when they leave that out of the movie, when they leave out how they throw their infant of their enemy off a wall and laugh, and they torture this one guy, right? Because there was Odysseus, he was off at war. And then his long journey back home, off I forget where he was doing big war. That's the story of the Odyssey, right? And there's like his wife at home. They're trying to get with her. She's like, no, I can't. And he like tortures some of these guys. He's like, oh, you thought you like, what have you ever like, do you wonder to yourself, Kevin, do you think that there was some, how do you justify those things? Not saying that you're the justifier of the Greeks, but I'm just having some fun with you, sir. In your mind, when you think about the Greeks making this story and they're loving this story, and then the hero of this story does some of these things, do you think like, well, there was a justification for it? I personally think that they just literally thought it was right. I think the people at that time didn't see anything wrong with it. That's what you do to your enemies, or something. You know what I'm saying? And then the Christians, right? It's like, oh, the Christians, right? I don't know. I'm just having fun with you, sir. You don't hate the Christians. That's not how I see you, Kevin. But you know, all Christians, you're into your Jewish book. Oh, why you guys worship this Jewish guy, Jesus? I think the way we think and the like decency of our society and all that, like, we take for granted the Christianity of it. In fact, this is for you, sir. This is an interesting little thing. Calabar princes. Okay, we're going into history here, hundreds of years maybe. Nigeria, Calabar. What's it called? The capital of the Cross River State in Nigeria. This is an old story of two princes of the ruling family in the port of Old Calabar, 1767, on the slave coast of Africa. You know how they say slavery was invented by the white man? Yeah, this is Nigeria. On the slave coast of Africa, were ambushed and captured by English slavers. The princes, little Ephraim Robin John and Ancona Robin John, that's what their names, were themselves slave traders who were betrayed by African competitors, and so began their own extraordinary odyssey of enslavement. Their story, written in their own hand, survives as a rare first-hand account of the Atlantic slave experience. So, okay, slave traders are enslaved, and then they come out, and what do? They're like, I'm going to enslave everyone. No part of them thought, hey, maybe something about this is wrong. Maybe we should do unto others as I want. You know, maybe I should treat my brother like I want to be treated. That's not even a thought. I know you love Christians, Kevin. I'm just having some fun because these two little X posts I thought were fascinating. I feel like you're one of the only ones who could appreciate it. And another one about the commentary about Nolan's Odyssey. Okay, yeah. I think the Greeks just simply didn't see that as a bad traits in their hero. And I don't necessarily have a bad judgment of the Greeks, personally. I'm just saying. You know, humanity has had an interesting story, right? Christianity's in there. Don't turn your nose up. No, you don't turn your nose up. Okay. Stories, okay? The pre-Christian mind. Are you ready? You're not ready for the pre-Christian mind. Okay, we don't even haggle for prices. Okay, go to the market and we buy things and they're a certain price. And that's how they are. And it's just like, wow, that's easy. Nick, you look like you could pass for being a Greek. He ambiguous. What's wrong? What's wrong with the Greeks? Lol, yup, leaving out the parts where the queen was kidnapped by Paris and R-worded. Odysseus, right? What's up, him, Diddy? How you doing? How you doing? Yep. And the Christians got their crusades. Okay. Everybody got a history. Oh yeah, but prayer and sacrificing food. I honestly never heard before Jesse such a simple description of praying over meals. I heard it growing up, and then in Catholic school, right? Didn't they have one? Is there a Catholic prayer for meals? Bless us these gifts, na. Right? Bless us these gifts. Which one is that? Help me out here. Grace before meals. Come on. You never say this? Grace before meals. I remember us saying it in the cadence, but not the words. Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. That's how we'd say it in school, just that cadence. Exactly like that. I went to Catholic school, but I never heard before Jesse someone describe prayer and meal in that way, where it's just simply awareness. Because if you consider what a lack of awareness is, if you've been listening at all, it's like the actual sin. It's like you're turning away from God into like whatever you're unaware about. And so what do we do with meals? Pretty much every time we're going to eat, we go to sleep. We just gobble it up. So now that's how I see prayer before meals. I ain't know Nick was Catholic. Yeah, someone asked me that earlier. I don't consider myself Catholic. I went to Catholic school. And anytime I tell the Catholics that I did some of the sacraments, like confirmation, first communion, they're like, yep, he's Catholic. So everybody claiming their groups. I was baptized, too, as a baby. Yeah, I just went to Catholic school, yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Okay. So, I had collected some of these links, and in fact, they're actually, you could say this is thematic, segue, you call it modern propaganda about history. Call it some modern propaganda on history. Might as well. I mean, it's kind of thematic. Whatever. The propaganda about the invention of slavery itself. White people invented slavery. A question asked to various groups. And in this chart, they break it down male and female. They asked this question of whites. The females definitely they outnumber the males in every category here. In thinking white people invented slavery, but in the whites, it's a minority for both. With Hispanics, basically 60% of women are like, yeah, oh yeah, those fools created slavery. And then the Hispanic men, 49%. You get the blacks. It's like, I mean, a whole bunch of people just believe outrightly, that they invented it. I mean, it is thematic. Well, the more I think about it, right? My caller, he's like, what right does people just get the right to have just like take everything? Like it's how it went down. That's not fair. That's too crude. It's too crude. Look how crude it's gotten. Now y'all are thinking white people invented slavery. No, they ended it. We're repeating that? 2026, it's the current year. White people invented slavery by generation and political orientation. Gen Z liberals. It's funny, the Gen Z liberals are closer to the Gen X and the boomers. It's these millennials are just out of control. I'll think they basically invented it. Okay, it's like you guys were born with Google. And then in conservatives, it's always been far lower. Kind of understand a little bit, but as the generations go on, the conservatives is just more and more. As you get farther from it all, I guess, huh? I guess as you get farther from it, you have to unlearn all that Catholic mess. No, I swear, I'm not a Catholic. They're my brothers. Pardon. I don't even remember what they taught me. I remember going to confession, and I was on my little high horse. I was like, I'm not telling you my sins. Who are you, God? To the priest, to the father. I was like, no. Okay. Oh, yeah, but I was just kind of messing with these links here. What did I save here? Just modern misunderstandings of history, I guess. Kind of fits. This one was over the break. Kind of funny. Look, I'll let you guys watch it. The thing is, I saved it too because I meant to look into who the heck these people are. I'm going to assume, and this is merely an assumption, that these are all liberals. And they're talking about genetics and race and skin color. I want to believe this is a liberal, like a liberal on liberal thing, which will make it funnier. So for the sake of humor, maybe not of accuracy, we're going to believe these are just liberals. It's way funnier that way. If this guy is getting mad at the other liberal for being just too liberal and not getting it. Like on just basics, like genetics. Okay.
You've said things like black women are...
I think maybe there's some context here, like who this is. It's some reporter. I forget who she is. Darn. Let's just watch it. But she's like a Wall Street Journal, CNN, or something like that. Kind of reporter lady. Anchor, maybe. And I'm going to assume this is liberal. Watch this.
You've said things like black women are biologically different than white women.
Yes, they have different fertility windows. They have a higher rate of fertility complications, 50%.
Liberal, right? He's oh yeah, black women, fertility complications. That's why it's racism. That's why the healthcare is racist. I think we can assume.
There's no scientific evidence to prove that a black woman and a white woman are genetically different, right? This is like...
What are you talking about?
Yeah. No.
Like literally, there are genes that code for their skin color. There are genes that...
Again, this is like government data. This is EMI, right? This is the National Institute of Health. This is the American Medical Association.
It's funnier because it's the guy, too, right? It's like, we're going to be liberal, and it's just like, this is, yep, totally, guys, it's time for diversity, and it's like... And then it's like, you're like surrounded by women, and you're like, right, guys? And then suddenly all the women are disagreeing with you. You're like, wait, how could you be so stupid? Right? You're like the liberal guy. And it's like, you're still a guy, right? There's still things that you still care about, some values, some realities. And suddenly you're surrounded by women in your little, echo chamber. You're like, yeah, F Trump, right? How can you hate minorities? And then they're like, and there's no genetic differences between these people. And you're like, what are you, stupid? It's like, yeah, you forgot you're still a guy.
Like there is no scientific evidence to prove that.
And that's a big problem, right? Because
there's no scientific
and that's why I asked.
Like IQ differences.
His left to right wing, radical right wing pipeline. It's about to happen for him, folks.
People are genetically different from other populations.
And I'll say that again.
I'll say it again. The confidence the woman has into just
There's no scientific evidence to prove that, right? And as people
No,
that...
I'm sorry, I'm stating, do you want to ask an AI if there's scientific evidence to prove that?
No, I want to ask...
No,
this
because
is
what you're
purely based
stating
on...
is just factually incorrect. Humans are genetically diverse. It's not a bad thing that humans are genetically diverse.
I'm not being racist. I'm not being racist, lady. Get with the program. This is basic science. It's racist what you're saying. Oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by idiots.
It's about a
He's
good
about
thing.
to become a right-wing radical.
No scientific evidence.
And I'm saying that is a factually...
He's saying that there is scientific evidence.
There is scientific evidence. There is overwhelming scientific evidence.
And this
basics... No. This is like saying the sky is not blue. Like, it is genes that code their skin color, right? Those genes are obviously different in them than they are in us. How is that not science? That's just like a basic fact. The genes that code their skin color, their level of melanin production, are different from my genes that code melanin production.
And that's precisely why I was asking this question, because I think for some people that do believe, like you, that people are genetically different, that has historically been used to promote racial hierarchies, right? And that's why I'm asking you, because
this is such a perfect clip too of what Bill describes, Bill the engineer, as ego versus real. Like, I mean, yeah, and why it's so closely related to men and women, and why it goes as deep as the phrase "evil comes through the woman." See, she cares about this consensus. She cares about, well, you see, merely talking about facts has historically been used to blah, 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 be racist. And so he explains again, over and over, just a mere fact, and stresses that it's not to be racist, to hate or anything. Do you agree it's a mere fact? And she's like, I'm glad you brought it up. I'm glad you're even talking about this, because this has been historically used, right, to be racist to people. And so that's how the woman thinks. The consensus, when making a decision, do all parties agree? Will everybody be happy? Well, as opposed to, well, what is the point of this? What are we talking about? What is the value of stuff? What is heavy crude? Why is it, you know what I'm saying? What is heavy sour crude? Like, what is the value of these things? Why do we have a price tag? Well, not to protect the egalitarian society, but because things have a value, and they must maintain that value, must be easily determined and expressed so people know what they're buying, right? So yeah, it totally describes this difference in that mentality, and I believe deeper than that in spirit. You see, and it's funny because a woman can find, you know, this is hard to find for men. It's funny how God loves men and women the same. But what I'm getting at is, you know, they'll say white liberal females are the worst. Look at these white liberal females, and it really is not that. It's women. It's not liberal females. It's women. They're in the wrong position. And even if you could show me Andrew Tate and this guy, they're not exactly full of love, Nick, men have their problems. The point remains. And even if you could say, you could point me out wrong, Nick, you're not the biggest man. The point remains, ladies, and for those who hate God and have anger, haven't forgiven their parents and don't get it, you're not going to like that. And you're going to like forever not like that. Somewhere deep inside you, you're going to be like, I resent having a different position than the man and being beneath, in a sense. You know, like in terms of world society, how things work. And they'll resent that. You understand? It's not the liberal females. It's the woman. And the men worshiping the woman, turning the order upside down. There is an order. You understand? In which the every other way does not work. And if we want to go down that route, then hell is right waiting, right? They write about in hell. They write about hell in all these books and all these people over the years. Yeah, it's within. It's also in society. You know, Jesse says it's right now. It's hell is you're in it when you're angry. Imagine now a society of people like that. You get the worlds that were described before us. Right now we're living in like a world we like. Well, guess what? It used to be quite violent. You had to haggle for prices. Everything is a fight. It's groups, ethnic groups, all this stuff. And the violence. Just the violence. It seemed to be almost accepted. That's what you do. It's a violent world. Yeah, rape your enemies. And so yeah, so it's like evil. Not like liberal female. It's like no, women are they're upending society and turning it upside down. Okay, where were we here? We got calls coming in 888-775-3773. We got to get to more stuff here, but first we got Art. I appreciate your call, man. Out of Ohio. How you doing, sir? Happy New Year.
What's up with Cool Breeze?
All is well, sir.
Already. So,
it's a good code name. Cool Breeze.
Cool Breeze, man. You Cool Breeze, man. Yeah, straight up. So check this out. I was just sitting here thinking or whatnot. So what was these last generations? So I'm 39. What was the generation that was 60 and 80 years old? What was they? I'm just sitting here thinking, like, what are they thinking, like? Because I'm just saying. So you remember? Tell me if you follow me. You remember they had a clip where dude was in Dearborn, Michigan, some YouTuber, and
yes.
He was doing something like what the little young dude is doing with the exposing the Somalians in Minnesota, but he was in Dearborn, Michigan. Whole different dude. So he was asking, or it might have been the Nick Shirley dude. He was asking one of the people down there in Dearborn. It was him, I think so. He was asking him, one, if America's in a battle, would you help America fight in a battle? And he said, nah, we can't help our enemies or whatnot. So I'm sitting here just thinking, I'm just dawning on me. So what is the point of you being in America if you ain't willing to fight? You might as well go ahead and stay in where you came before you came to America. That's the whole point of being American. Just what I always saying, settlers and capitalism, founders. If you don't get with us, we'll take it from you. That's what America's about. So if you not for that, because you can't help us because we enemies, because we Christians, or you might be Catholic, or you might be Baptist or whatnot, or Israelite or whatnot. We your enemies. What is the whole point of you being in America then?
Yeah.
You ain't bringing nothing to
truth,
you ain't bringing nothing to the table. Only thing you coming over here doing is using. You ain't even, and then you telling us you ain't gonna even help us fight. You telling us when we need you to go put in that work and get sweaty and dirty, but leave it up to everybody else. Black Americans, Native Black Americans, and Native American whites is lazy though. But you telling us you coming over here taking and getting free taxpayer money off of us, getting cuts for funding for your stores and stuff, and then in the next breath, the young generation, the dude who was on that Nick Turley video was a young dude, Nick Turley, or whatever dude's name was asking that dude that. These is young dudes saying that, which is really a libtard move to me, because why would you be coming out your mouth and saying that? But see how Father God, my Father God works out the Bible, the tribe of Judah. He gonna let you open your mouth up, and you gonna explain. That young dude can't even help himself. He only speaking with God, my Father God, our Father God, the Creator of heaven and earth, is letting him do to show you and show me with their whole ulterior motive. And I asked that about the Trump generation, the 80-year-olds, and the people that's 100 years old. And don't get it wrong. When they get to that age, there's only so much that they can do. But how did we fall and get this sidetracked? That ain't nobody asking these questions. We at 2026 and we just asking these questions. That's the whole point of America. That's a great
question, Art, because it is a whole bunch of tired people that are far too old. They're over there. If you saw these Democrats doing their little candlelight vigil pretending like January 6th was the worst thing that's ever happened in the country. You know, it seems like there seems to be some of the people at that age group that you're talking about that are just digging in their heels, and it's just the most not a becoming thing for their. It's terrible. They've been terrible custodians, so to speak, raising little haters. Some of them so radical they're out and they're like, F U.S. imperialism, release Nicolas Maduro, right? So, you know, it's a great question because it seems like some of them just, and it's like the women too, man. Have you noticed they're like old and out there protesting? It's like women Democrats digging in their heels. It's like, you're not looking? I mean, that's really what your question is, right? Are you not opening your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, for our founding fathers of America, they can't be looking. And then if you do, let's say you do have a draft and you force them to go into me, do you want to have that type of person that told you that they ain't really wanting to fight for you? Do you really want them in your army? And then do you really want to force these type of people in your army? Because we know how they operate. And if you don't, I mean, you need to go back and look at your history. Stuff strapped to their bodies and running in the buildings, the females and the males. You see what I'm saying? Why are you introducing all these new things to American society where you ain't doing nothing but putting us in the harm's way? And ain't none of it mathing. That ain't adding up, man. That's not logical. It ain't logical.
The worst of the worst have made it. The worst of the worst have bubbled up through the cracks. The people have become complacent, let go and forgotten about what is even America, their place that was given unto them by people before them, and the worst, most craven people have bubbled up from the surface and turned this country into a place where the law abiding are punished, the lawless are given endless chances, and so now they only care about themselves and how to continue their little fiefdoms that they've carved out of America, like Karen Bass. I mean, look at any of these people running anything.
Yeah, nah, for sure. Like Karen Bass, and you know that's just they is a straight libtards. They, as I always say, for years and years and years and years, man. If you can just look over the past, the ones that usher it in or whatnot, that they fighting to bring usher in evil is the first ones that the devil removes, and then they try to come get RDR in the ones that's, you know, because it's going to be hard to get us because we standing with Father God.
Right.
So you better hope your hands ain't going to be long enough to get with us. You see what I'm saying? They always going to be fighting an uphill battle with that. But for the Karen
that's
Bass,
why they work so hard against Christianity and all that.
Yep.
All the decent people, just family, just I like no crime. You're a gentrifier. Like a couple of these words to make the most decent, normal people into crazy wackos.
Real quick, you know something? I was talking to somebody else, but I'm gonna just go ahead and get into with the whole gist of what we was talking about.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a past criminal. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I heard you say the other day. Now that I'm square, now that I've been square, we were making a commentary the other day.
Yeah, I'm square. I'm a square now. I'm working a 9 to 5. You know, which is good.
Right.
You get some people, you know, but what I'm saying is that as I got older, like back when I was younger and I was in my liberal, you know, in the streets moving, it was like, man, they messing with me and, oh, man, shoot, I can go and do this and I can go and do that and I got a pride with him. Me and my boys, we going to mount up in the car and we going to go do this and we going to go do that. Shoot. My peoples, they need a bag, man. I'm a quarterback just like Michael Vick. If you catch my slang and my lingo, you know what I mean? I'm a quarterback and I'm going to do it like that, man. F the laws, this and this and that. These are my younger days. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm living like I'm in the wild, wild west. You can't raise no kids in the wild, wild west. You got to grow up and understand that there's laws. There's a reason why there's laws. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the part of as you get older, you realize, and I'm just so confused that we at a point to where people and everything is acting and everything is pushing like they don't want to have laws. They want to be in the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
That's actually pretty interesting. The outlaw has not, they used to talk about in the Western days, is it the last days of the outlaw? I guess the outlaw never really ended.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But
just
it's
like
a hard
I said,
way to live. You don't have.
Yeah, it's a hard way. You can't bring no kids up in the city in that type of environment. And if you keep pushing where you see where Columbus and Atlanta and your Oakland, Californias and your Houston, they at the breaking point. I'm surprised they even able to even have kids even around there. I mean, just as far as the way it's been set up, I'm basically saying I don't even know how they hanging on, how they even eating and surviving. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And they ain't. They really ain't. They really wiping. It's just like how it's. But nah, it's just like the mental and the mature developmental. They ain't developing. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Totally.
Like they ain't maturing. You to where they comprehending that either you want lawlessness or you want law. Law get you where old America was to where we still living off of what my great-great-grandparents built. You see what I'm saying? Right. You can still go outside and see stuff that my great-great-grandparents built because they still standing because our ancestors took care of it to still preserve it still to this day. To this day. But that's where when you do have law, everything, and you can have some functioning society, but they acting like they don't want that. They want to act like they trying to turn everything into a Mad Max Thunderdome scenario, the movie. But go ahead.
No, that's what I see it, man. I see what you're putting down. It's true, and it's like that's what you do. You get Thunderdome with angry people, and they got to develop. That's the word, man. They got to really grow. And it's like there's nothing else.
Yeah,
I mean, people got to grow, and
for sure they got to grow.
Leave the conditions to be right, but it has to happen. There can't be no substitution for true growth of an individual, a family, and a community.
Yeah, that's what and that's what it's really all. That's really is all about. America is really is family. That's really all it's about. Me setting up my family, setting up my family. That's what America really was about, and it really it's the world. But you got to take care of your own before you can be trying to take care of somebody else. I'll catch you later, man.
All right, call me again, man. Nice to hear from you.
I'll catch you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
888-775-3773. Yeah. What's it called? Learning your lesson. Whatchamacallit? Learning your lesson. Breaking. Mayor Mamdani inspects capitalist slums of New York City on his first day. The capitalist slums. Whoever this is reporting on this. Let's look at the capitalist slums. Thank you. Mom, that's what they're coming out with. Mamdani focuses on housing and tenants' rights on his first day in office.
A year?
More than...
Oh, hold on.
When did this happen?
I can't remember exactly the year.
A year?
More than years.
Mayor Zohran Mamdani inspecting broken floor tiles in an apartment on Clarkson Avenue in Prospect Lefferts Gardens, getting a first-hand look at the deteriorating conditions.
Broken tiles. Take the property, seize it right now, folks. This is all the justification we need. We've seen enough. A broken tile. That's it. The state is seizing property.
From an eroding bathtub surface.
Okay, come on. Clean your bathtub. Clean your bathtub, woman. I mean, wait. Look at this dirty bathtub. We're seizing the property. That's it. We've seen enough.
A rust-covered, corroded bathroom.
We're, in fact, denying the Constitution and seizing all property. Sorry, folks. Look at this. We have footage. It's in 4K.
Pipe and red paint.
Look at this paint that she could paint over. You could paint that.
About. And you told the landlord about this?
Yes.
And what was the response?
Oh, no.
Call some numbers, but nobody want to do anything about it.
Residents in this same building and in others owned by the landlord Pinnacle Realty say they've experienced similar conditions, from leaking bathroom ceilings to moldy drywall. Tenant unions rallying in response, demanding stronger tenant protections.
Oh, my gosh.
On his first day in office, Mamdani made his first major policy.
Rent stabilized and organized. Wait, isn't this there's something kind of backwards here?
The announcement.
Because there's already like hella rent stabilization or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's something wrong about this. That's why they were saying this. Okay. So someone here is commenting, and I don't know if it's true, but they're saying the dumb A didn't realize he visited an apartment that's already under rent control, and precisely the deterioration of the housing happened because they don't let him raise the rent, which would allow the owner to have more cash to invest in repairs. So I don't know. I don't know which way on that issue, like the landlords. But I'll tell you this. The fact that if that's true, there already exists, that this is a building that already has rent control. Like, what more do you think Mamdani is going to do? It's just more of the same. Rent control for the less. It's already what's in place. That's already what they're doing. So just more of that, more of what doesn't work. I don't know if like landlords have what their part to play is, right? And where the tug of war is, like housing prices, right? It's like older folks holding on to their homes, with price tags on those homes that have gone up maybe far too much. But right, that's all just wacko economics. Like, not real economics. Let me play SimCity with my little ideology and say, we must have equality, right? And you're just like playing games, right? And usually the most corrupt people play those games, right? We've seen that in history. Like, we're going to get equality. And you just play with the building blocks like you're playing with people's lives like you're playing Lego blocks. Like, let me run a country. Let me run a petro state that should be just so rich. Like, it's so ridiculously rich that you could just like pay people out of poverty. And the kind of like, they were like doing stuff there for a bit, and then it goes to ish. They mismanage it. It's like, wow, even endless money, you couldn't do it. It's just all that thinking is just so wrong. It's not manly. It's not Christian. It's woman. It's communism. It's like not the value of things, not what's really concerning, what's really happening. And by the way, maybe this landlord is not running things right, but look, the images they're showing here, like, is that her dirty wall? Like, how about you clean the backsplash of your kitchen? Like, what was I just looking at? Hold on. Look at this.
Conditions. It's a step.
We're going to seize the property because you can't, look, that's the oil from your cooking, lady.
Tenants like Mildred.
That's your dirty kitchen. You did that.
Hope.
You're nasty.
Executive order.
You're nasty. That's it, folks. We've seen enough. We're seizing all the means of production. Oil stains, dirty oil stains of your cooking. Oh, that's it. We've seen enough. Yum. That's your grease. How about maintain your... what's that fish tank? This is just an apartment of a gross person. Okay?
That gives...
that water in there? Is that what color is that water? Excuse me? What is that?
It's a
step
that gives...
Can we talk about this? What is in this tank? Renters are the type of people who don't take care of their own stuff, much less the landlords. Yep. Yeah, look, you got to explain that color of water. I don't know. Is this supposed to be just like whatever organism in there require like river water, like actual river water, like just piss water? What is that? Okay. All right, fix the roof, buddy. But anyways, I got questions. Okay.
They face illegal living conditions.
Illegal living conditions. Yeah, this should be illegal. Condemn this. And I don't know. Seize her property. She clearly can't maintain it. Okay. How about we do merit-based property? If we're gonna get crazy with it, huh? We're gonna get crazy with it. Oh, we're gonna just start seizing. How about we do merit-based? Yeah, you know what? Yes, this should be illegal. Whatever piss tank that is,
tenants
and whatever's on your walls, Should have been condemned a long time ago, and your property seized. You obviously don't know how to handle it. You obviously should have no property, and maybe no property rights.
Ross, hope.
To hear this executive order is something we're really excited about.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah, you know, you're excited for something that's like already in place, like they're already rent controlling and all that. But we've yet to try this. Wait. But wait, there's more. Oh, you say you conservatives, you tried it. There's already rent stabilization. We haven't tried taking it from the white people. And so they're feeling a little optimistic out there in New York. They're like, wait, we haven't tried everything. How about we take stuff from white people? We're saying it out loud. And you've seen that. You've, in fact, seen some of that. I've shown it to you. That Sea Weaver over there. Yeah. Mamdani's gal. Oh, man. Hey, thank you so much for all the support. Right on, man. Rumble, thanks. Popping off. I love that. Thank you. Zyarg. Is it Optimistic Zia? Shout out to you, sir. Says Trump was not worried with Mamdani. Maybe the living conditions of people had something to do with it. I remember that, man. Thanks for the reminder. I remember that. Remember, Trump was pretty optimistic, and he's saying, hey, we had a talk. I think people will be surprised. He was saying, remember that? He was saying, Trump, I think people will be surprised and maybe even happy. And you know what? We shall wait and see, right? Trump's that kind of guy too. And if that's what he told him, hey, you know, I think a little differently, but here's what I really want to do. And Trump was pretty much cool with it. It might just be that. Oh, it's all this talk like, oh, time to seize property. And it's just like maybe more rent control, but he's got some other policies. It just works out. It works out in Trump's mind. I really don't know. Personally, I think it was just how Trump is. That meeting with Mamdani, in my opinion, it's just how Trump is. Mamdani hasn't acted. It's just words. And as far as Trump is concerned, he wants to work with people. And that was, in my opinion, what really drove. I wasn't there, but it's what my opinion drove that meeting. It could very well be Mamdani's all talk, or he's really about what he's doing, and we just simply have yet to see. And that's simply Trump's position, which is how it should be. That's my opinion. But yeah. All righty. 888-775-3773. Mom Dummy. Yeah, we like that one. We definitely like that one. Mom Dummy. That's malt liquor in the fish tank. She making jail brew. She making some of that toilet wine. Jail brew. I thought Nit said, oh. I forget, that's kind of a rude word, right? P and A, right? P and A. I'm kind of too loose with those. The water is dark because there's tannins in the fish water, and it's healthy for the fish, says Fish Fanatic. And I got to say, I think I trust Fish Fanatic on this one. I'm going to go with Fish Fanatic's word on that one. If I got Truck, I'll ask Truck about truck questions. I'll ask Sparkplug about vehicle questions and engine questions. Okay. That's why they're in the chat. Okay, thank you. Appreciate all the support. Thank you. Someone with the coffees, you're back. Wow, nice to see you. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby if you'd like to support that way. Incredible. All right, let's move it on here. something else for you in the last bit. And we could just keep running it down. This is also what interesting. I was perusing the skim a little bit, and they're a little bit worried. Those ladies, they're worried, particularly the teachers. Okay, that industry, right? That. Hold on. An industry we're familiar with, right? Education. Is it industry? Do we call it such a thing? Pumping out little, I don't know, messed up people, sometimes even school shooters maybe, with their latest product, right? Pumping out their latest product out of the industry, educational industries, export. School shooters, disaffected youth, angry with the system, hateful of authority, hateful of really just like society and anybody having fun and happiness 'cause they don't have it. And that's not me bullying them. Or you're just mad. You're just mad because you're not laughing and smiling. But they look at the world, right? That's how they see it. They're like, they're there and I'm separate from them. I'm antisocial. And you know what? It's anger and thoughts, and it finally turns to violence. Just describing our lovely industry or whatever. But the teachers are not happy with AI. Okay, and I found it funny that they came together to grade AI, and they're saying like what it's good for really right now. The teachers aren't exactly giving AI an A+ in terms of students and how good it is at actual teaching. They're saying while the bots can help with some tasks, like making flashcards, I found that kind of funny. I'm just considering, right? I'm just imagining like this is education, right? Heavily female dominated, right? Teachers to administrative staff to counselors, and now to even leadership so administrative roles are heavily female, and now even like principals and all that. They used to still be male. And I just find it funny, right? This education system with it seems like kids from across different walks of life. They're all like, yeah, school sucks. The young boys they have their own journey, it seems, pumped full of drugs sometimes, simply for being a boy, really. And then you got like they're angry and shooting up the schools, and then their response to that is more, I don't know, just emotions. We need to be strong and stop the hate. And like the most hateful are those women and their mothers, the children of those children. So I imagine that group, right, coming together with their noses upturned, right? AI's got his problems, but I'm imagining this group of women that I'm describing with their noses up high, like, yeah, AI could do some things like make flashcards. Maybe it could take attendance, right? It's like it's already doing a lot more than that, lady. Okay, and you're using it, liar. You're using it to make your lesson plans. Okay, there was something out there about how many professionals are just all adopting it. You're using it, okay? And the students are smarter than facts wise. They know facts and they just know stuff because they look it up. They have AI. They quickly adopted the AI much faster than anybody else, for better or for worse. But they know way more. So they're looking at these teachers. I'm looking at this group, right? And they're what we're actually reading here is fear. They're actually a little afraid. They're like, yeah, that's only going to make flashcards, okay? It's maybe good for flashcards, but you can pretty much ignore it for everything else. It's like I can see it doing your job better than you, lady. Do you disagree, Bill?
I agree with what you said.
right? These teachers, they're a little afraid of the AI.
It doesn't always give you the truth.
No, of course. Bill say it doesn't always give you the truth. It doesn't replace your own fact checking, your own mind. It doesn't replace true. In a sense, what am I talking about there? Maybe intelligence, so to speak. An intelligent person, right? They're not going to go with the first thought. They're not going to go with. So that being said, if you look at like the education system, like even like a shoddy AI seems to be better than a teacher. You know what I mean? These days, especially with a really self-motivated individual. And if you have what looks to be, from what the skim has put together, a younger generation that has adopted AI like this, which means to me they're pretty self-motivated to some degree, they're already the teachers are in trouble. And so that's why they're trying to tell you, oh, it's maybe just good at making flashcards. Like, no, you got to catch up, ladies. You've been running this education system and it's a mess. Everything y'all are running into a mess. You care about ego and not real. You feel me?
I don't know if you need teachers.
Bill's like, I don't even know if you even need teachers. Yeah, they might be a thing of the past soon. Yeah. I wouldn't be against that. Growing up, I had like two male teachers. I'm trying to remember. I literally had like one in like middle school and one in like high school, or two, like maybe three in total. But anyways, you're I don't know, lazy fat administrative females, if you remember when you were in school. Maybe time to get in gear. The AI's here, and even in its like psychosis, it sometimes spits out bad info. It's better than you. Figure it out. But yeah, I mean, speaking of like these institutional captures, we'll get back to this actually tomorrow. We'll do that on a deeper way. We'll do this topic tomorrow, this video I was about to play, on a much more deeper level. I think you'll enjoy it. But what else? I mean, they're following this Sea Weaver around. They're like figuring out her life. She's like getting all tough. Like, yeah, you're going to have a different relationship with property, white people. The time has come. And now they're like, oh, yeah, is your mom going to have a different relationship with property? And now she's like, cry, why are you bringing my mom into this? Why are you coming after me? Sea Weaver. Zora Mamdani's woke, privileged tenant advocate Sea Weaver breaks down crying when asked about hypocritical gentrification comments. Apparently, he's got wealthy parents and they got a nice home, big old home. Sea Weaver broke down Wednesday as she dodged questions from reporters about her gentrification hypocrisy. 37-year-old who faced backlash for blasting homeownership as a weapon of white supremacy. So all the like non-white people who, what I mean, like built up their standing in life by owning property. Like Jesse, Jesse bought himself a house. He was able to get him some property, buy himself a little land, and he's just been, as you do what's in front of you, your blessings increase. You're going to call that a weapon of white supremacy. You want to take you want to take away a black man's success in America, huh, Sea Weaver? That's Jesse Lee Peterson we're talking about. And he's talked about this openly. Buying himself a little land at 25. So that's just silly comments. That's stupid. You know that. Weaver, who was tapped by Mamdani as a new director of the city office to protect tenants, quickly ran back inside when asked about the $1.6 million home her mother owns in Nashville. Okay, ads on ads. Nashville is not in New York, but that must be nice, huh? I guess you want your parents to give up their property too, right? Right? Interest in Mamdani's hire kicked off after some of her old social media posts. We saw some of these. There's no such thing as a good gentrifier. just like having a decent area, a nice, decent area, which is going to cost more than a crappy, rundown area. Nothing good about that. Nothing good about that. Let people be just terrible standards. Everybody knows the so-called lower income places. The people there suck too, though. It's not like they've been oppressed. Like they throw trash. They got their dogs out. Here in LA, that happens. Like Hollywood, in like big cities, there's like tall buildings flanking you, and I'm like, why is there mangy street dogs coming after me? What am I out in like the woods? Look, what is this? It's just Mexicans. But anyways, she was crying. Where is she? There's no video of it. That's the home, I guess. Ooh, that's a weapon of white supremacy. But she supposedly, where was it? She was all red. Was she crying? She lying? I mean, why'd you go crying all of a sudden? They're just asking you a question. You shouldn't be running anything. You fell apart at some questions. Anyways. Wake up. You fell asleep. Insane video. What? Breaking news. ICE shooting. There's an ICE shooting. What?
Get the fuck out of our...
Oh, the super breaking news. So breaking it has not been censored in the slightest. Breaking. Video shows moment a woman tried to run over ICE agents with her vehicle in Minneapolis. What a mess it is in Minneapolis. Resulting in her being shot. Tim Waltz calling ICE the Gestapo is exactly why this is happening. Comments this person. And I got a video for you here, I think. Whoa. Are you serious? Jacob Frey is coming out saying...
I have a message.
He's swearing. He might cuss in this. Apologies, but we're going to play it anyways.
For ICE.
He's got a message for ICE. Jacob Frey. The one and only photo line finish Jacob Frey. The madman. King of the Somalians. The true king of the Somalians, Jacob Frey.
And I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
Whoa, Jacob.
We
why you
do not want you here.
This is Minneapolis, Minnesota, 12:38 p.m. This must be before this latest, right? Mayor Jacob Frey gives update on ICE-related shooting in Minneapolis. No, this is after that, and he's adding to the fire. This guy's adding to the fire. My eyes all itchy palsies. This air. Bill, if you come back in here, point this fan away. This guy's, the madman, is actually adding to the fire, saying, get out of here, blaming ICE. Now, the video is going to play. I don't know, maybe it's violent or something. I bet you they have a sanitized report here on YouTube, but this did happen not too long ago. An ICE shooting. And in the video I saw, it looked like this person was just trying to like leave, but they were given a lawful order to stay. And you're not allowed to, when you're surrounded by officers, you're not allowed to just get in your vehicle and drive off, especially in the direction of officers. Big no-no. That's a weapon. That car is a weapon. This is an hour ago.
That we're really hearing some more details from law enforcement.
Yeah, we know that the call was made maybe about 10 o'clock this morning, so just about 3 hours or so ago. In that press conference, we did get some more information about this woman who was, we know, at this point shot and killed by ICE agents. We have learned that she is a 37-year-old white woman. She appeared to be in the vehicle alone, is what the police chief said, but the spouse has made it to the hospital. But we probably should take you back just a little bit about just some of the chain of events that have happened now that we have some of that information confirmed.
And interestingly, we really still haven't learned what the initial call was, why ICE was there in the first place, who they may have been looking for. But we know that while ICE agents were there, according to Mayor Frey, there were about a dozen or so plus agents there.
Frey or Frey? What the?
That,
like, you get it wrong.
You know, we've seen there's some video out there. We're actually going to be showing it to you here shortly, so you can see for yourself. But in the course of of them looking for somebody, people started to gather, crowd started to gather. More law enforcement shows up, and I'm not exactly sure at what point the incident happened with the woman in the vehicle. But we know that there was a woman in the vehicle, and according to again, you'll see the video for yourself and you can kind of watch. There are two narratives here. One from the Trump administration, which we'll read to you in a second, and then one we just heard from local law enforcement. Okay, and Ryan's telling me that we are actually ready to show the video. So before we layer too much context here, why don't we just let you watch this? But we're going to do this in a very sort of deliberate way. Let people know that this is video we're showing for the first time. You're not going to see it a lot on our air because we want to make sure that when we're showing it, we're doing it with a purpose. So a warning to those who may not want to see this. You can see the vehicle there. That's law enforcement pulling up in the pickup.
And it is the Honda Pilot that we should be focused on here. It's about a purplish reddish color here. So let's take a look.
Agent walking up. And then there's another agent. I don't know if you can see that one right there.
Yeah, three agents involved. One was kind of closer to the front of the vehicle. The other kind of pulled on that driver's side door handle there.
So again, there's no audio here. We don't know what's.
I might as well. We're in the middle of it. I might as well. Maybe some swearing. Pretty much close to the same angle, but with audio for my viewers here. Let's watch. Sorry about the swearing.
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood! Out car!
What and the car crashes. And then the car crashes. You heard that second boom? It's the vehicle crashing. I mean, I believe the driver is disabled at that point. Probably in critical condition, if not dead.
What the fuck?
Dude! And I'm pretty sure the cameraman was just a moment ago going, like trying to hawk loogies at law enforcement. Dude, what the F? Are you really gonna kill someone? These people are like not even in reality, even in the way they speak, right? Like you're in some trance, you're just some character, Like what the F? Like that's your reaction? You're such a machine. You're just an animal. Why would you kill someone? You can't. They're opening your door. In what do you think this is a video game? In what world do you think you can drive off? These people, this is what they really think. They're thinking that they can yell, but once the cops start coming, they're like, oh, okay, now I'm just going to leave because if I just leave, I won't get arrested. I'm just going to leave, and this is kind of escalating too much. I've decided to play it risky and take it to this edge. The cops are walking up, but okay, this is where I walk off, though. This is my off-ramp, and you really think that you could just drive off? That's your off-ramp? The cops are giving you a command. In what world, what fantasy are you in where you think you could just drive off like that so dangerously? And so I guess the rest of this.
What's being said, we don't know really anything else about this woman, other than we know that she was not the target of the initial investigation. That was confirmed by the police chief. But there are some other angles of this as well that are being looked at. So that's kind of one pass of the video. And
we're getting some buffering. Come on, Elon Musk.
Again, right. Okay.
Don't do me like that, Elon. Well, we're really slow here. What's going on? Elon Musk directly sabotaging this. No, I'm playing around.
Okay, thanks for letting us know. Sorry. So there is some audio to this, and if you go online, you can see.
Jeez.
So now you can see the vehicle as a crash.
What's up with this? Is this the intranet? So anyways, that's kind of that little moment there, and that woman's overreaction got her in trouble. I've seen plenty. Actually, I've seen quite a bit. I've seen enough film, folks. I watch film. And this is, I've seen this scene play out multiple times. With the wokest, with the so-called wokest of police forces. That's pretty much basic. Vehicles can be used as a weapon. And yes, you could use deadly force against someone employing a vehicular weapon. So I've seen this play out a bunch of times. Person thinks they could just drive off. Officers are surrounding them. Officers are in danger. They unload their firearm into the driver. In fact, I've also seen many where the person intended to drive off into an officer, right? So they're like, when will you know either way?
Yep. And according to law enforcement here in the Twin Cities, that woman was shot, and then the vehicle drove into the snow there, as you can see. So this is kind of the aftermath right now. This video is...
But I got oh, my bad. I got Rick out of Hampton, Virginia in the last few minutes here. Sir, I appreciate your call. Rick, how you been?
Brother Nick, what's happening? Fine, and you. Happy New Year, my brother.
Happy New Year to you, sir. Thank you.
Man, hey, what do you think about the shutdown, man? You think gonna be another shutdown?
I don't know anything about that. No, I don't. I don't know anything about that. In fact, the only thing I do know, I think it's not going to happen.
Yeah, because it's supposed to happen the end of the month. You know.
Yeah, I don't know, Rick. I'm not familiar. The only thing I heard is that it's not happening.
Wow, you know what? And hopefully it don't. Because I think it's probably going to be worse than the first one.
You think so? You know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, why I heard that, why I heard other ways, but maybe Democrats just don't want that smoke.
You should think they wouldn't, because like I said, if they pulling, a lot of people don't understand. When Trump got Maduro, he just got him, didn't kill him, or nothing. Brought him to justice. But when President Obama did it with Gaddafi, and he killed him, he didn't get no authorization, and no one said nothing about that.
That's true. They're saying that there was
nothing about that at all.
They're saying there was no need for, I forget why they were saying there was no need for congressional authorization here. Because there wasn't a war or something like that?
Yeah, it wasn't. This wasn't no war. He was just going to apprehend someone.
Right.
It wasn't no war.
Yeah, no war. That's over.
He didn't declare war. Only now Congress
Nothing
can't
to
declare
see here,
war.
Congress.
But we ain't declaring war. we just going by there picking up a crumb. What you say on Brother Nick?
I'm saying I agree with you, man. And no war here. Nothing to see here, Congress. Move along. But Rick, I wanted to give you 60 seconds before we go. I wanted to give another 60 to my last caller here. Can you call me again?
Yes, sir, man. Well, I'll call y'all tomorrow. Love y'all. Y'all be blessed to my listeners and
of course.
brothers and sisters. Keep on focus. Love y'all. Keep putting the truth out there, Brother Nick.
Big Happy New Year to you, Rick. Call me again. And Alan, Michigan, man, I appreciate your call. I do apologize. We're at the end. How about a 60 seconds? You got a comment on the ICE shooting?
Is it me? Oh,
yes, sir.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
All is well, Alan. Appreciate your call, man. You got a quick comment on the ICE shooting before we have to go?
Quick question. How do you feel about the shooting?
Look.
You think that he should have shot her? You think he should have shot and killed the woman?
Yeah. It looks like look, I saw very little of it.
I get it.
But it looks like it could very well have been justified. Easily,
I get it. Well,
Easily,
she drove her vehicle
right
in the direction of an officer. All I'm saying, I recommend 2 cases for you to look into.
Please, go ahead.
You come up with full. You got me?
Yes.
All right, Adams versus Spears, which was a similar account where a person tried moving car near officer shot. They found that the officer, because he was not in the oncoming direction of the car when he opened fire, they found that he was not justified in his shooting.
I'll look into that one. And you had another one for me?
What was that?
And you had another one for me?
Yeah, dude, Orne versus City of Tacoma, which is a lot more similar.
City of Tacoma.
To this situation.
Very cool, man. I appreciate this. I got a little homework to do, man.
I'm
being quick, sorry for the end of the show, but go ahead. Last comment.
No, you're good. I'm just saying, like, for real, bro, like, whether or not, yeah, she should not have drove her car anywhere near them, but, like, there's legitimately never been a single case in which if an officer is shooting from the side of a car where it's found to be, like, not murder.
You may be right, Alan. Hey, I
I'm being
appreciate
for real.
it,
I'm
man.
just saying, before you start talking more about, like, it being justified, I recommend looking into the precedent because, dude, don't ram your car into ICE officers, obviously, but that guy should not have done that.
I'll look into it. Alan, can you call me again?
Yes, sir. You have yourself a good day.
Take care, sir. All right, folks, that's it from me. More Anchor Baby tomorrow. We got Bible Thumper Thursday, the first of the year. We do love it. More Hake Report and the American Anchor Baby. Let me do one last final check. I was about to sign off all cool, but I realized, okay, we're set there. Folks, as always, a pleasure. See y'all tomorrow. More American Anchor Baby. Peace.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.